Now we're going to talk about female cycles. So, one of my favourite topics, and we're going to be looking at yoga, women, and the moon. So, let's begin with her story and um, look at women and yoga and how this has developed over the ages. So, we hear a lot about traditional yoga history, and we have covered that in our yoga philosophy section. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about women specifically in yoga. And these are the things that we don't often hear in traditional yoga teacher training. But women were actually excluded from yoga practice for almost 5,000 years, guys. And the female blood roots of yoga actually suggest that there was a widespread female centered communal yoga practice dating from around the upper Paleolithic and Neolithic times. So this is going way back. Now, it's not that women were not practicing yoga thousands of years ago. It's just that, as in many other aspects of life, they've been written out of history, okay? Now, back in these times when we were looking at, very primal shamanic practices, we were celebrating the natural powers of bleeding, birthing, healing, and dying. Now, just let that sink in for a moment and think about what that actually means.
This early yoga was practiced in rituals of trance and dance, so very yin, very feminine practices, embracing each of these life stages, each of the life stages that we embrace and support through Yoga Belly's therapies in our classes, okay? Now, by using these early yogic practices, the trance dance, the rituals, the ceremonies that women were practicing for their community at the time, this is how disease was purged from the community. It was also said to increase fertility in women and animals, and also to enhance the chances of food crops being fruitful. And females were worshipped as goddesses. Their ability to give birth, to grow another human being and give birth, was revered, as opposed to being seen as a weakness or a frailty. It was seen for what it actually is, an incredible miracle. And we see, if we look back at these times, we see lots of images of female Buddhas and high-ranking shaman priestesses as well, okay? And we go back, as far as 6,000 BCE, we can see these artifacts and figurines in old Europe. I'm sure you've seen lots of statues with the large breasts, the voluptuous stomachs, the ample thighs, and even sometimes the very visual vulvas and, the spread legs, showing the root of humanity as it was known, demonstrating visually the hara. And there was no shame around this, and it wasn't seen as a bad or wicked or embarrassing thing. It was seen for what it was, powerful and wonderful. Now, the expressions of the ancient shamanistic yoga was eventually codified into formal schools. These are the schools that we know today, okay? But Hatha's roots can actually be traced back to the female-centered practices of Tantra yoga. And raising Kundalini energy was originally something that female yogic priestesses were capable of doing. And this is who would have been charged with this responsibility in the community. It wasn't men, it would have been the priestesses who were involved in these practices. So let's talk a little bit more about Kundalini. Now, you may or may not practice Kundalini yoga, but Kundalini itself and the concept actually originated in the female siddhis, okay? Yogic powers of menstruation, female sexuality, natural birth, and menopause. Now, I'm sure that you're already starting to see the relevance of this to the Yoga Bellies practice. We harness this energy during our practice. We embrace the feminine, we embrace the Kundalini, and it's believed that these ancient yogic rites actually encouraged the free, spontaneous flow of this Kundalini energy through the female group, through the community, and by extension of that, through the entire community, through everybody, the men, the children, everybody benefited from these yogic practices. Moving on a little bit, these ecstatic practices of women were then swallowed up by men's aesthetic practices, and the focus of yoga practice then became on the mind rather than the body. Now, this is not saying that yoga is a purely physical practice. That's not what we're saying, and we know that's not the case. But ecstatic techniques and practices are still vital to female yoga. And women and their biological functions, as we know the history of Christianity and other established religions, they sought to push women down, and their biological functions began to be seen negatively. Female rights were outlawed altogether. People such as yoginis, dakinis, priestesses, these were then called witches, ogresses, demonesses, temple harlots, whores, whatever you want to call them, are powerful women. This applies to midwives, healers. All of these people were demonized by established religious groups, and everything was pushed underground. And over time, we actually forgot that there once was a different kind of yoga, a female-centric yoga, one in which the inherent powers of the female body were celebrated and harnessed for illumination, freedom, and compassion. And this is what we want to move back to in Yoga Bellies. Now, you may think that we are no longer, dakinis or priestesses, but we are women, and we can embrace this power, this prana, this kundalini. We can raise this, and we can move back to these yogic rites, to the spontaneous and free flow of kundalini energy, which can benefit not only us, but everyone around us. So let's think about women and yoga today. So in recent years, I'd probably say in the last 10 years, women are beginning to reclaim their birthrights again. The right to embrace the feminine, to be proud of what makes us women, of our inherent ability to create life, to love and embrace our gentleness, our inherent fragility, our ability to care and to love. These are not negative things. These are fantastic positive attributes of the feminine. And Yoga Bellies classes encourage women to harness and embrace this wholeness. The roles that we take on as women, as mothers, as workers, as carers, they are multifaceted, and we accept and welcome them all. Now let's just think about the differences in men and women and yoga, because you still could be considering, why do I need this yoga practice for women? Hopefully by this point you understand why we need a separate yoga practice. But just to make it super crystal clear, women are tender and flexible and move with ease and grace. Our muscles are soft and light. Our skeletal structure is less broad than the man's. It withstands mental and physical strains greater than men. Now think about that. Men are often said to be physically stronger, but actually our body withstands a lot more. If you just think about our life stages and what women go through, the health of mankind depends on the well-being of women. Again, just let that sink in. Men, on the other hand, are rigid, robust, and rough, and their muscles are large, coarse, and heavy. So even just looking at these points on the screen, ladies, I'm sure you can see why, even on a physical level, a completely separate yoga practice is required for men and women. And this takes us on to just some of the benefits of yoga for women. So there's been lots of studies conducted that have proven that the life expectancy of women practicing yoga is a lot higher than non-practitioners. If that's not enough reason to keep going, I don't know what is. And yoga is also classified as a body and mind cleanser, okay? And it allows us to be happier, and when we're happier, we live for longer too. Women experience various benefits from yoga at very critical life stages, which is, of course, the whole ethos of Yoga Bellies. And these positive effects of yoga are more effective in women than men, since women tend to fall into emotional problems or black holes faster than men, which can later result in physical manifestations such as other medical and health conditions, okay? So we're just going to look at these benefits in a little bit more depth. So physically, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. For women, blood pressure, a regular yoga practice brings down blood pressure, and it also maintains it because we are experiencing better oxygenation and blood circulation through the practices of pranayama and asana. Pain. Yoga practitioners are known to have a higher pain tolerance, and some studies have actually shown that women who practice yoga experience less pain when giving birth. Now, apart from that, various instances of chronic pain, neck pain, back pain, all of these things can also be lessened and managed with a yoga practice. Yoga is also said to prevent and eliminate various chronic health conditions in women as well, okay? So similar to the way that it does with men, but obviously these conditions can differ between men and women. Heart disease as well, this is something that we traditionally associate with men, but it's prevalent in women as well, and with less stress and lower blood pressure, the chances of CV disease are greatly lowered. Again, we're also increasing that blood circulation and fat burning, which is going to result in lowered cholesterol. Win, win, win. Alzheimer's as well. Now, yoga elevates the GABA, that's your brain gamma aminobutyric levels, okay? And low GABA levels result in Alzheimer's. So, yoga up, Alzheimer's down. The next one is diabetes, and yoga is known to stimulate insulin production. So this is going to reduce glucose and help to prevent diabetes as well. Gastro issues as well. Yoga improves GI function in women very, very effectively. And metabolism is going to help us stay healthy by balancing our metabolism, by controlling our hunger pangs and controlling our weight as well. So let's move on to psychological benefits. Number one, stress reduction. Of course, this is why we all come to yoga. Now, as women, we tend to stress more quickly than men do. This is a fact. And this is why most physicians advise their patients, advise, not advice, their patients to practice yoga, as it improves concentration and allows them to focus on reducing the emphasis that is putting stress onto their life. This brings us on to anxiety and depression, because obviously stress can lead to these, and yoga is controlling our breathing. So our pranayama exercises and also joining the movement with the breath is going to help us reduce any underlying anxiety. It helps us clear negative feelings and thoughts and moving away from that stress and moving away from depression. Hostility and calmness. It is the best method to reduce and control anger, okay? The calmer we are, the better for everyone. We're going to be happier, we're going to be stress-free, and this can be obtained with a regular yoga practice. So I've touched upon this as well. Concentration. Yoga is going to increase your concentration, and it also increases motivation levels. Now, this is why women from every area of life will benefit from practicing yoga, all right? And improved concentration is going to result in enhanced life focus. So if we can concentrate, we can focus on what we need and want from life and how to get there. Memory. Yoga stimulates better blood circulation, especially to the brain, which is going to help us reduce stress if we can remember what we're doing, and improves our concentration, leading to better memory. Spiritual benefits, lest we forget the spiritual benefits of yoga. Inner connection, ladies. Yoga can help to create a bond, a relation between body and mind, connecting those two vital elements. Apart from all of the other benefits, it helps us to live spiritually within our bodies. Inner peace. Yoga is the only method known to us for better and quicker inner peace. Okay, it is the ultimate method to create inner peace inside of ourselves, and this inner peace generated increases and improves our capability to make better decisions about life, even if under serious circumstances and unexpected circumstances. Purpose of life. Yoga is a very simple, attainable exercise method in its most simple term, the hatha practice, that has numerous benefits psychologically, physically, spiritually. Apart from allowing us to attain inner peace, it helps us to find the purpose of our life and the secrets, to uncover those secrets to a healthier, longer life.